Well, welcome back to Slow Flowers Podcast. I'm Deborah Prinzing, and this is Slow Flowers Podcast Live, a kind of a beta experiment for this year at the Flower Show. I want to thank Jeff Swenson and the team at the Northwest Flower and Garden Festival for giving us this room and space so we could set up like a little virtual studio. It's not really live stream, but it's live audience.
Yes,
so we have an audience. Usually it's just
I love
us.
that. I love that.
I'm so delighted to welcome my dear friend, longtime Slow Flowers member and pioneer in our community, Teresa Sabankaya.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. It's good to see you again.
It's great. And we should introduce the man in the back room.
The man in the back room with the cute dog?
Back of the room, yeah. The dog with the cute man.
That's more like it. That's his chick magnet. My husband, Nezzy, is here with us today. Thank you so much.
And Violet.
And Violet,
yes.
the little Frenchie.
To babysit her emotional support.
Well, I am so delighted that this series worked out because it turns out that 4 of our Slow Flowers members are here speaking at the show who have new books. And Teresa's book, hot off the press, Modern Floriography, is, I know it's a labor of love. You poured yourself into this.
I sure did.
Not only photographing it, but doing the illustrations.
The illustrations.
And writing
yes,
it.
And writing it. Yeah, it was a big bill, big shoes to fill. And the illustration thing came in only because I had these gardens in my mind, and I couldn't go out and plant these specific gardens because there's 12 of them. So I thought, okay, well, I've always illustrated, like sketched.
Yeah, and you've taken
in
a
nature.
lot of art classes.
Yes, I have. I've taken a lot of art classes. But halfway through this, I was like, what am I thinking? You know, I have this, my art instructor is this amazing, incredible, her work has been in Smithsonian. She's a botanical illustrationist and illustrator. And she lives right by me.
It's
Mary Jo Koch.
Mary Jo
Yes.
Koch. I visited her studio once.
Did you?
Yes.
Yes.
I can't remember who took me, but
Yeah, it's a beautiful little quaint area, and she's just an absolutely brilliant artist and so patient and so kind with me, because what I'm trying to do in the book
let's
is
show some of the
what I'm
gardens.
trying to do is
Why
I'm
don't you
trying
show us
to
one?
it's this type of illustration is a little bit different because I'm trying to show my readers it needs to be ephemeral in watercolor. It needs to feel dreamy. It feels like, oh, you know, I want to be there. But at the same time, I'm talking about specific flowers, so I have to draw that back into reality. Does that make sense?
In other words, it can't be just a wash of
It
a watercolor.
can't be all Monet.
Yeah. There's got to be.
It can be some Monet and some very Mary Jo, very, very detailed.
Teresa.
Or Teresa. And it became Teresa. And Mary Jo and I have this, running joke now that, like, she'll be like, now, Teresa, she's like 80, she's an elderly woman and just very soft-spoken and very sweet. And I would send her some of my work and she would say, now, Teresa, does that Lyons bench have the right angle of light on it? Don't you think, like, very sweet and kind, like, in other words, oh gosh, I've got to do this bench over again.
She gently critiqued you.
She gently critiques me, and then her and I invited her to my garden, and I've had her little club to my garden before.
And tell everyone where that is.
That is in Bonnie Doon, so it's it's in the Santa Cruz Mountains, so about 9 miles north of Santa Cruz County, Santa Cruz City, and it's up in the mountains, and I have there's 11 acres, but only 2 is really gardenable.
Yes.
So coming there is very magical for the painters because I have planted a really gorgeous garden. As a lot of audience members know, I have been doing flowers for a very, very long time. I started out as a grower, a very small boutique grower, and just started harvesting and selling them in town. That's how I became the florist from 100 years ago. That's kind of...
Which was coined by Amy
Amy
Stewart
Stewart
in
coined
her book,
that.
Flower Confidential.
Yeah,
But
and
you
it's
were
true.
a gardener first.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Then a floral
Yes.
designer, and now a hybrid of garden design,
A little
floral
bit of
design,
everything.
and plein air artist.
Yes, yes.
So show the audience this one here, and just
So this is the Empowerment and Ambition Floriography garden. So everything in this garden is in this posy.
oh, so this is how it's arranged.
Yes.
You get the inspiration from
Yeah.
planting the garden, and then can you clip and design? So
Yes.
so useful for
It
someone
is
who
so
wants
useful.
to have a garden with
Yes.
purpose.
And that's a lot. I mean, a lot of the purpose of the book is just that, to show people that you can plant anything you want in your garden, but wouldn't it be nice if they all had specific meanings in the language of flowers and symbolic meanings, so you can go out there and cut. Also, I wanted people to know that you can also make gardens what I call sentiment gardens. And these are gardens designed, here's an illustration of the Intent and Aspirations garden. And it is a beautiful scene for those who wouldn't be able to see this very close, but it's a very inviting, calm, serene scene with a couple of trees in the background. And always the sentiment gardens have a place to sit, because it's designed for you to go out there and sit down and absorb what nature is telling you, and carry you through either celebrations, heartbreak, sorrow, grief, friendship gardens. These are all reflected in here.
You marked this page, so
Yes.
tell us about this one.
I wanted to read a little bit of an excerpt
Oh,
from
that'd be
this,
great.
actually. This is a sorrow and grief sentiment garden. But just the page before, I have the bereavement and loss Floriography garden. So the Floriography
my
garden
God, I just wanna
is what
be
you,
there.
yes, right? So you cut from this and make this. You don't have to make a posy. You can cut just a few things. That's another thing that I teach you in this book. It doesn't always have to be like this, beautiful posy. Of course, those are lovely with all the ingredients from your garden to convey certain messages to someone who might be, grieving in this case. But you can alternately just clip a few white roses from that garden, which represent peace. And it also represents heaven and, a peaceful place, a resting place.
So it kind of covers a range of emotions.
A range of emotions,
all
but the
interpretive.
overall emotion is themed,
Okay.
to each. But I wanted to read
Yeah.
a very special excerpt from Sue Stuart Smith. I'm not sure if you're familiar with who that is. Yes. Have you read her book, The Well-Gardened Mind? Okay, I just have to read this really
Yes,
quick, because
do.
and it took me a while to get permission from her and her publishers. I actually did have to go directly to her, but anyway,
I'm glad you did.
yeah, I did, because what she's saying here, basically in a nutshell, is a life of a flower is reflective of us as humans and what we go through, all the emotions. So she says, flowers may well have provided our remote ancestors with the first consoling narrative. When self-consciousness emerged in human prehistory, it brought with it an experience of separation and an awareness of mortality. These existential predicaments have been with us ever since, raising age-old questions. How to make sense of life, how to deal with the pain that comes from living. The life of a flower offers something to hold on to, a form of protection against fears of fragmentation in the face of death. Ephemeral and fragile as flowers are, they are the agents of continuity. For the flower in its beauty is destined to die so that its fruit may live and bring forth more flowers from its seeds.
Yeah.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah, it is. It's a kind of the metaphor is so obvious, and yet she gave it this universal truth
Yes.
that relates to even non-gardeners and
Exactly.
non-floral people.
Yeah,
I love that.
absolutely.
What else? You have another page marked here. I wanted to before I have a ton of questions for you.
I know
but
you do.
but
I know you do.
I want to give you.
I
this
don't know why I
stage.
marked that one. Probably because I absolutely love
I
this
love
sentiment
that.
garden.
I love that illustration.
Don't you want to just sit in there? Isn't that pretty? This is the grateful reflections. So everything in this garden is designed for you literally to just go out there and be thankful for whatever,
We need that
anything.
so
We need
much.
this. Deborah, this book really anchors everything that I've wanted to do with flowers from day one. They are so much more than just flowers. And I really hope that this book takes the reader into a different level and start using them for, not just pretty things. I don't want to degrade the fact that just looking at them provides us so much joy, but to look a little deeper, because when we create messages with their language, it requires us to be present. And we need that today more than ever. It requires us to reflect on what we might be going through as a person.
Yeah.
When you're making something for someone else and you're looking at all the meanings and you're trying to find the exact flowers or plants or trees, herbs, whatever, to convey this message to this person, it requires us, like I said, to be present with ourselves. And we really can value, that today.
And I think this idea of weaving this story with meaning about your plants and flowers is something everyone in this room can use and is probably already using with your clients, because you're communicating. This is not just fixing a eyesore backyard, or this is not solving a problem for a dinner party. The more you can bring people into that emotional experience, they value you as a designer.
And they don't realize until you point it out to them. For instance, when you're doing a landscaping project or whatever, if you incorporate some things, some lovely things, and then let them know that, did you know this symbolizes this? They are, really? I didn't, oh my gosh, this is awesome to have this.
Not to just put on the business hat, but that is a way to assert your brand and become of value to the customer.
I did that, for 30 years in floristry. I've done a lot of weddings. And I never...
I'm glad you don't have a total count. It'd be too depressing.
I know, it's almost 30. Let's just say almost 30.
No, I meant the number of weddings.
Oh, the number of... Oh, Lord, no, I don't have any. Just... I mean, we're to the point now where someone last year said, do you have any images of your work? And I'm like...
Do you follow me on Instagram?
Just Google my name and you'll see lots of there. But anyway,
the good and the bad.
I don't want to be.
I mean, the good and the bad of being over 50.
Right. That's it. That's what I mean by that. I've been around a while. But what was I saying? What were we talking about?
Well, the weddings.
I would include, toward the latter part of, I don't do weddings. I will do weddings for certain occasions and certain people. But I've sort of stepped out of that role. But last year, my daughter's best friend was getting married. My daughter was a bridesmaid, so of course, and I did this big, huge boho, gorgeous. She wanted that big.
Controlled chaos.
But controlled chaos. But when I delivered her bouquet, I put in a beautiful card with the bouquet, and it had all the flowers deciphered to their meanings, and she just... was like, you are kidding me. My bouquet means all this? And I said, yes, everything in there means, it all has a message. Well, 2 days after the wedding, she texted me. She goes, I want you to know that bouquet became, I can't not live without it. And she found a person that is going to preserve and make these plexiglass
I've seen that.
tables or whatever you want. I don't know what she chose, but her whole bouquet is going to be in there. And they took the flowers out, and she wants to incorporate the language of flowers in this. So somehow she's going to tag all those flowers with the meanings on this piece of art that she has. So talk about a never-ending...
Right. I mean, it's so much about memory.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's how the language of flowers first began, I would imagine, in whatever culture, because you've studied all the cultures that used flower meanings. It's not just the Victorians.
Oh, no. This started way back. Actually, the more I learn about it, it started in the Ottoman Empire with it's called a salam. and a salam is a greeting. And a salam is also a greeting of objects, not flowers. So they would create these greetings in these beautiful boxes. And it could be like a pebble or a feather or whatever, and it had like a rhyming meaning to it, you know? So the French actually caught on to that first. But it was written about by Lady Mary Montague Wortley, who was a British society lady, and she wrote about it in her little society letters. And of course, this was during the Victorian times, so they romanticized it with flowers. But I believe the French were already using them, language of flowers before that.
I mean, I'm just going to that that correspondence from Bridgerton, you know.
Yeah. Well, modern floriography, our publicist really wanted to link the launch of this book to Bridgerton
from the get-go. That. I saw you did something really amazing.
What happened was way before, when Bridgerton first came, I started watching Bridgerton. And then all the while I was kind of working on the book. And what happened? I was on social media, and there was it was after the wedding. It was after Penelope and, what's his name? Colin.
Yes.
After their wedding.
That was the last season 3.
Yes, it was last season. So this influencer on social media posted a picture of his boutonniere, and it was in a little tussie mussy.
Which is
it's a silver. It's a little silver bouquet holder, chalice shape, and they stick the flowers down in it. Anyway, and and she posted on it, and there were like millions of people liking this, and all of these comments, and they were like, "What do the flowers mean? What did?" I was like, "Oh, let me tell you what the flowers mean." So I got on there, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" It's like delphinium. I think he had I can't remember anything now. It was delphinium, which is light, airy, and fun. That's the meaning. And then there was one other thing that was, I think he had like a little rose in there, for love or whatever. So I wrote this cute little thing up, and I don't normally do that on social. I commented on someone else's, but I couldn't help it because there was so many people that did not know.
And you had the answers.
And I had the answer. And boy, did I get a lot of responses from that comment. And so when it came time to start looping the launch of Modern Floriography book into something big that's happening, the publicists, they were just like, "Oh, it's got to be Bridgerton, because you made that comment and you got hundreds and hundreds of likes on your comment, and
That's
all
amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I don't ever do that, but I wrapped up that comment by saying how appropriate for him to have those flowers in his little boutonniere, because it represents the things that, And then I went on the most recent article that I wrote. I believe it was for Gardens Illustrated.
No, that's what I was so impressed by, because first of all, you're not British, so
no.
The fact that they let an American write for them.
I know, but it's a language of flowers.
Yes.
So that's how I got in.
And so Gardens Illustrated is, you guys all read it, it's like the most beautiful gardening magazine in the world. And is it it's 6 times a year or something like that?
Yes, and it's one of those magazines you get in the mail and everything stops until you have.
Yeah. But writing for them, major bucket list, Teresa.
Yes,
Props
I know.
to you.
I know.
I'm so impressed.
I was asked, I can't say that I wrote the article, but I wrote it in collaboration with their team.
Okay.
So
you're quoted in it.
I'm quoted in it,
and there was some reference to Regency era.
Yes.
And that's the period when Bridgerton.
It was actually a little bit. Yes, it was Regency, filmed during the Regency area, and that was a little bit in front of the phenomenon. But they were already using flowers to convey messages at that time. It just hadn't caught on, like the Victorian era.
I mean, just to be, frank, you have to find a hook to break through the clutter of how many gardening books, floral design books are out in the marketplace, and just to have a thread that the non-flower person can respond to. the Bridgerton thread.
Yeah,
That's awesome. And
absolutely.
I know you're doing other things too.
Yes.
But
I
that was
know.
perfect.
I loved it. I
Yeah,
loved doing
I
it.
love it.
It was fun.
Teresa, you've written other books.
Yes.
And so let's talk about how your journey has evolved to.
Well, you read my mind. That's exactly
Okay,
what
good.
I wanted to talk about. The book prior, my first book, prior to Modern Floriography, is the Posey book, and I wrote that in 2019.
And of course, we had you on the podcast. Then.
Yes.
So I'll put the link to that episode in our show notes because that was, wow, I can't believe it, before COVID.
That was a long time ago. Yeah.
I love
yes.
that book. That's so fabulous.
It's a beautiful book, and it's brought me some very wonderful connections and successes and just beautiful people through that book into my life. And it led me to write Modern Floriography, because what happened was when I turned in my manuscript for the Posey book, I included being able to plant a little garden, a Posey garden I called it, where you could go out and cut and create beautiful floriography gifts for people. And the editor said, that's a whole other book.
Oh, so they just
So they removed it. And I thought,
as they want to do.
so, yeah. But I'm glad they did, because now I have this. But I was thinking Modern Floriography would just be about, planting gardens, floriography gardens that had messages and sentiments. And it became that, plus so much more. I'm glad that things happen the way they happen for a reason. But what my real, like I said earlier, I love the fact that hopefully people will be inspired when they read this book too, is that it's accessible to them. Through our slow flower friends, obtaining cut flowers, or, garden designers that can help you source certain things that you want to put in your, and also I want to emphasize these gardens, I did include all kinds of gardens in here because not everybody has a yard.
So you mean like a patio?
There are patio gardens in here, and it is doable. I've done it. I've done a whole patio planted for friendship posies, and it works.
For a client?
Alstroemeria, you can grow that. I mean, it's a wonderful idea, I thought. So.
Wow. So in the second portion of this book, there are some projects, some design projects. I want to talk a little bit about. Oh, first of all, you have the entire.
I do have the New Language of Flowers dictionary, which is the Posey book. My first book has actually a very comprehensive dictionary in it. The New Language of Flowers in my second book, you and I talked about this.
Yeah.
We didn't want to duplicate the whole dictionary again. So what I did with this is I sort of abridged it and added some new plant varieties in here that are more, modern. And also included some that where you look at it and go, what is that? I've never even heard of that. And it makes you want to Google, what does that look like?
Right.
I included some of those in there. And most of them are readily available to us. And then to top all that off, to kind of combine the whole dictionary, I put it online. So you can go to newlanguageoflowers.com or modernfloriography.com, and it leads you to the online dictionary.
So that's your gift to the community, because
it
that's
is
free.
Yes, it is.
I will say that I'm sure the Victorians didn't know that cannabis sativa, aka hemp, marijuana grass, gallow grass, kiff, means fate, blessings of fate, hardiness, and roughness. I honestly, I opened this and that's the first thing I went to.
Where did you see that? Okay, yeah. Do you see this? That means
a little plus after
the
specific
so
epithet.
This is one of the flowers that I gave the meaning to.
The Teresa Sabankaya meaning. Woo! Well, why not?
Because
who says you can't?
And I talked to you about this years ago too. What do you do when you come across a flower or a plant and you want to use it in floriography and it doesn't have a meaning? Well, when I was in
cultivation back in the
exactly.
Victorian era. Okay.
But interestingly enough, No, it's coleus. I
Yes.
could not. When we were at the kiosk 20, 30 years ago, retail floristry, we would make posies. And I wanted to use coleus leaves because
I love coleus
and you can
leaves.
you can root them, and it's a win-win. And but it has to have a meaning if you're going to put it in a posy or a gift of Floriography, right? And it was very popular in the planting beds during the Victorian
for
times.
sure. You see
they
that
used
in all of
coleus.
the
Oh yeah, I
window
could not
boxes.
believe there was no meaning for coleus. I mean, I researched and researched and researched, so we just didn't use it. And then I had a conversation with my boss here, my slow flowers boss. And I said,
we might have talked about it on that 2019 podcast.
We might have.
Okay, so we'll see what you said then.
But you gave me the idea of, that's what no one owns the language of flowers. I don't own it. I use it. And I'm trying to rekindle its popularity. But as through these hundreds of years, as we've hybridized new things, and we want to incorporate these things in our floral designs and gifts to others in Floriography, we need a meaning. So I took it upon myself to, do that. And I just follow the guidelines that everyone else has before me.
Sure.
Which is, what is its nature? Is it very fragrant? Is it, what's the genus? Who are its relatives? What do those things mean? All these things, the attributes of how it grows. All these things have been used throughout history to give flowers their meanings. So I just did the same thing.
I love that. I really do. And I think that because this is sort of a condensed dictionary, or what did you call it?
It's a dictionary.
Yeah. That going to your online link, and I'll put that in our show notes as well, has a little bit more, way more botanical references.
Yes.
This is also what I wanted to point out. So this you do some design instruction in here too. So how to arrange posies and bouquets, this is all new photography. It's not the same from
It's
the
all
posy
new.
book, right?
Yeah, I've tried not to use any of the same flowers we put on display or anything like that.
Oh, I love it. It's so beautiful. And you're showing, even the meaning of foliages. I mean, you use herbs so much.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I use a lot of herbs.
And then here's the easier to accomplish than in
Yeah.
photos.
I
don't know
try.
that I could do this.
There's a lot of floral how-to books.
Yeah.
And yes, this is another how-to book, but what I tried to do was take my almost 30 years of floral design and just sort of sift through a lot of stuff that can be found everywhere and just focus on the real, the heavyweights.
And what
things.
distinguishes you?
Because I want everyone to be able to pick up, 7 or 8, different flowers and create something that they're very proud of and they're proud to give away and aesthetically appealing, I feel like I've done that in both books, but especially this one, because I actually do say, just forget about all that and just do these little things and you are going to be happy with what you have.
I have to show the posy tag because this is something you really popularized.
Yes.
And don't you have some that people can download?
Yeah.
Okay.
TeresaSabankaya.com. You can go there and download free sentiment tags. You can also buy sets that are a little bit more fancy designs. Those are $10. I'm getting ready to launch another set, which I call Floriography tags, and that's when you're doing like an en masse. And you can just fill out whatever it is. Let's say we're going to do some wax flower.
Yeah.
A really pretty bouquet. Did you know that you can do something a wax flower, if it's arranged prettily, which I show you how to do in the book, and then dress to the nines, or you can leave it organic and simple, but we are just blessed with so many like art papers, like rice papers that are just, so beautiful. Fabric,
Anything you can print on, right?
Yeah, well, no, you could. No, I'm talking about the wrapping.
Oh, the wrapping.
Yeah,
okay.
moved on. Okay, so the sentiment tags, yes, of course. Adorn those till the
Catch
cows
up,
come
Deborah.
home. I know, no. The sentiment. I'm probably jumping all over the place. But what my message to you is we. Yeah, look at the paper though. This is decoupage paper. I mean, what a beautiful presentation at the end that makes. And I use some vintage ribbon, of course.
Okay.
See, I love getting all that stuff. I mean, I love all that stuff. And what else are you going to do with it? You need to use it to wrap beautiful bouquets and en masse bouquets.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I got off.
That's okay. That's all right.
But giving people resources, I think, is just back to that teacher in you, encouraging everyone to participate.
Yes.
Whatever level fits their business or their passion for flowers. They may not be in business, and
no, but I think you're right. This is a great reference for businesses.
Yeah.
I would love to see flower shops across the nation and florists start to use Floriography. I know that there are some out there that are doing it. I get messages quite a bit from, fellow florists that are saying, oh my gosh, I did posies for the first time, and this and that.
Well, this is what I want to compliment you about, because yes, it's distinctive to your brand, but you're not trying to say no one else can touch this now because I own it. You are trying to popularize the practice of modern floriography and the posy designs for more florists to use, because it just helps.
It gives value to their work.
Yeah.
It gives deep value to their work. It gives them a niche. It gives them a way to really connect with their clients. I've had clients, through the years, and now I don't have that retail spot, so I miss that part of it. But I had a young couple that were dating, and he had a dog and she had a cat. And every birthday and Valentine's Day, the dog would send the cat a language of flower bouquet, and the cat would send the dog, and they just went on like this for years. And it was just so precious.
Sounds like a When Harry Met Sally movie script.
It was like, oh my, and all the girls that worked with me and everything, we would all get so excited. I can't remember, Roscoe, the dog's name was Roscoe, and the cat's name was, I can't remember, it was very feminine. She was a very feminine, and he would write to her like that, like, oh, I hope that your pillow is, it did say things like, I hope your pillow is extra fluffy tonight, and, your pate is extra, it just went on and on. I wrote all this stuff down. Now there's another book.
Yes, I've heard that. Many people have said, and actually maybe Amy Stewart originally said, it would be a good murder mystery. The florist knows all the sentiment enclosures.
Oh my gosh. Anyway.
I love that. Well, Teresa, before we wrap up, and I know people may have questions, but I would like to just ask you to reflect on the arc of your career. Back to the days when I first discovered you in the pages of Flower Confidential, written by our friend Amy Stewart. That book came out in 2007, which is crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
Amy, do not ask me to do a special thing in 2027 to celebrate the 20-year anniversary of that book. Because the reason the Slow Flowers Summit started in 2017 was because Amy said to me, if you do a summit or some kind of conference, I will come and speak to honor the 10-year anniversary of Flower Confidential. And I took her up on it, and you were there. You spoke too.
Yeah.
And Misty was there. That's the first time we met in person. Nisha was there. She volunteered to come do social media.
That's when
us.
I met Nisha. Yes. Yeah.
And so I want you to reflect on the flower world met you in the pages of Flower Confidential, and you were called the old-fashioned, or what did Amy call you?
She called me the like an original florist from the 19th century.
Yeah.
From 100 years. Oh, the 100 years ago was the Michael Pollan. That's how they titled my part in that documentary.
Okay, so
but
Michael Pollan and Amy Stewart have talked about this woman, so I'm just in their shadows. But I love that. But reflect on, like, what has that meant? You could have never have designed a career this way, but in a way it's turned out to be so uniquely reflective of who you are as an artist and a teacher and a designer and an entrepreneur.
Well, I have my tissues.
Okay.
So let me start. No.
All right.
I'm going to make it quick.
No, it's okay. I like sound bites.
Gosh, the arc. I'm not going to say that it was all easy.
Yeah.
Retail floristry is not easy. Being a florist is not easy. It's hard work. I have been blessed with an incredibly supportive husband and family. And I would encourage, if it's your partner, if it's your best friend, if it's your sister or whatever, you need that support system. I did. I can't imagine not being able to do it without people like that by your side. Because, there were some tough times. I followed my heart. I stuck with what my message wanted to be. You need a message, you need a niche. It needs to come from the heart. People respond to that. It can't be all business, it's business, but there needs to be some personal connections, around you in your world. Those people will lift you up 9 times out of 10 when you need it. And they really, I'm thinking about you, Deborah. From the beginning, she has lifted me up. And if you don't have something like that, it's very hard. So know your people and treat them well, be good friends, stay with your message. My message was I wanted to do locally grown, or, back then we didn't have the term farmer-florist. I didn't know what there was no term for what I was doing.
You were
I just
gardener florist.
I was gardener florist. I just loved to grow beautiful things and sell them to people. I made a business out of it. I made a business out of something that I loved. And, back to that, it's not always peachy. It's not always rosy, but it has been an absolutely wonderful ride. Like I said, I've met the most amazing people. And I think it's because I've stuck with it. I lost business because of it too, because I wouldn't fly in, tulips in July for a wedding. I just stuck to I just kindly started turning as kindly as I could, coming up with my own phrases that it's not a good thing to want tulips in July in California. We want local stuff, well, and then finally I got to the point where, how about roses look like peonies. Garden roses look like peonies. I'm fortunate. I live in California, so I've got my local grower who grows amazing garden roses year round. I've always really tried to push that. And then I've worked on my aesthetic from day one. I've had people that I've followed. Before I, even became a florist, I would look at these books and say, if I could design like that. And Shane Connolly was a huge influence on my design style. I just loved his natural garden. And that, back then, I'm telling you, it was not a popular thing.
Yeah, it was the world of roundy moundy ballroom centerpieces.
Yes, and they were hybrid roses imported from Colombia, and no one knew what I was talking about. And no, not a lot of people wanted my stuff. So that's a fact of the matter. It really, if you want to be honest, I've had people say some really mean things about my designs back then. Yeah. Like, oh, this looks like you pulled it from the garden. And I walk by, well, actually, I just did. Too bad you don't like it. Like, you're just, I'm not your girl.
Yeah.
So.
True.
Oh boy, yeah, there was some, and being down, I was so exposed too, because I was downtown Santa Cruz in a little 60-foot kiosk, so there was no hiding from mean people. You're there,
the haters
that was just far and few between. I'm like exaggerating. But there were way more nice people.
Yeah, one hater versus 30 lovers.
Oh, there would be people that would just come out and look at my bouquets and go, is this Queen Anne's lace? Yeah. I have this in my garden. I'm like, that's how I met Amy.
Yeah.
I met Amy. She was outside my kiosk. I had some stylene from my garden. I can't remember the variety, but the one that has a little bulbous,
Oh, yeah.
just the simple white stylene. And I had it in a little glass vase sitting on a table by the kiosk, and it stopped her in her tracks. And she was like this. She got her glasses on.
I love it.
That's how I met Amy.
I love it.
And then we hit it off right away because she's from Texas too. So the second I said, "Hi, can I help you?" She goes, "Are you from Texas?" So we both just like, whoop. We ended up having like a 2-hour conversation.
But see,
probably.
that's the being open to the universe and what it brings you.
Exactly.
And the kismet. Let's see if anyone has any questions to add, and then I'll wrap up.
Okay.
Or questions to share.
First, or do you want me to
Kelly
answer?
Jane's basically asking, and you alluded to this earlier, of many references and sources and authors and I guess reference books about what is the language of flowers. How did you? I know you studied them all, and then how did you synthesize them for modern floriography and your new language of flowers? Is that?
I didn't. That's why you'll see in the dictionary, I always use basil as a reference. Basil has a lot of meanings. Two of them, good wishes and hatred. So it depends on which dictionary that was pulled from. I did not want to decipher which one. So I tell people in my books and when I'm giving presentations, don't use the hatred one. I would hope you wouldn't use that, but I want you to know, the old.
If you need it, it's
there. It's there. If you need it, it's in there.
Subtle shade.
So I believe that came from the hatred part. I could be wrong on this. Shane might know, but I believe the hatred part came from one of the English dictionaries, and the best wishes came from a French dictionary. So
it is open to interpretation.
It is.
And that's why communicating to the end user or the recipient is probably so important.
it is, and you don't have to. I always tell people, when you look at some of the meanings in my dictionaries, there are a lot of them on sunflowers. You don't have to write every one of those on there. Pick and choose which ones you want. You can use one.
The primary one.
Yeah,
or
you can
whatever.
use one, you can use 3, you can use, what is it that you want them, what do you want your recipient to feel, and use those meanings.
I love it.
Okay, I'm going to read you the definition of floriography. The word floriography may sound complicated, but it isn't. Floriography simply means cryptologic communication through the use or arrangement of flowers. That's floriography. Yeah, and it's basically what I'm doing. Making a posy is floriography. Putting a bouquet of tulips with a meaning, as long as you're putting a meaning, it's floriography. You are creating messages for people.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thanks we should have started with that.
I know.
How do you work with artists and groups that want to come in and visit your garden and maybe stay for a while and do their art?
I haven't really put it out there per se. We have rented our space to photographers for like engagement photos. We used to do host weddings there, but when I became a watercolor artist, my instructor, Mary Jo Cope, I got to know her so well, and she started talking about her little group, and they called themselves the Gouachettes. And she kept saying the Gouachettes, the Gouachettes. I'm
what
like,
does that mean?
Can I be a Gouachette? Like, what do I have to do to get in this?
Gouache is like a type of
Yes,
medium,
it's a
right?
yes, it's a opaque watercolor. So
Love that.
I invited the Gouachettes over to the garden because Mary Jo is always, she's been commissioned by some very well-known people to come and paint in their scenes in their gardens, which are just
Wow.
absolutely dreamy. but Mary Jo also will invite her little group of painters, people that really, you can be a gouachette if you just take a few classes, you know, or just engage.
Study
so I
with
guess
her.
I'm kind of a gouachette.
Yeah.
So, but that's how I got into that, was I invited them over, and they all show, you know, it was about a group of, I think about 12 painters, and they come with their lunch and their own chairs and their own easels and everything, and Mary Jo will pick a scene, and we'll all just sit there in our chairs and paint the scene, and then we move around, we bring our lunch, and we chat and have some bubbly. It's really fun. The first one that I went to off-site, we went to a prominent person. I won't go there, but it was a very exciting place for me. And it was like, it just, I mean, to be there with them and to be able to capture some of these things, it was a very beautiful experience for me. I mean, there's something about plein air painting, you know, being in the space with the light, you know, and anyway, that's how that all happened.
Maybe maybe that is a way that Susan could connect with other smaller groups and host them. I don't know that you're monetizing the welcoming or hosting artists.
There was a small, they wanted to pay a small usage fee. Which
Okay.
I was reluctant to do, but I did, just to cover. I supplied like bottled waters and
You had
some
you
stuff.
had to weed.
Yeah, I had to weed. Yeah,
Thank you all so much for coming, and Teresa, thank you so much.
You're welcome,
I'm
Deborah.
so
Thank you.
Pleased for you.
thank you.
Congratulations on the
Thank you.
book.
Thank you.
It's just, I don't know how you're going to top this. Maybe you'll take a break from books for a while. Or
yes. No, I'm not writing any more books.
thank you all so much. This has been really beautiful, and I just love
Thanks
that we
for
had this
having me.
conversation, and it'll be
A walk down memory lane.
yes, yes.